Hey guys, so today I'm hoping to make a quick video here, but there's a few things to talk about. Number one is kind of a surprise, and I did something, it took me 4 days to do, um, but I'm glad I did it. I may use it in the future, I don't know, but it's definitely for you guys. A lot of you have more than I don't know, 20 something systems that I have. Some of you have 100 and something systems. Some of you have 200. I think the max is like 250 something at the moment that they support. But I know there's definitely a lot of you out there who have more than what I work on. So kind of a start to that, I'd say, is I am providing you guys with, like I said, 4 days of work here. It's just over 100 fade screens for 100 different systems. So what it is it's about, I believe, 77 new fade screens for new systems. And then I redid, here I'll open it up, I redid all of the older ones. So the thumbnail says fade screen or fade 2.0, mainly because it is the step up from what I did before. I did the others kind of hastily. I liked how they turned out, but over time I became less and less happy with how plain they kind of looked. So I felt that they needed an upgrade. Oh, that's nice. You know, one of these days I will turn down my phone when I start doing a video. So anyways, I felt that they needed an upgrade, so I kind of stepped them up to 2.0, and you'll see some of those in here. I'll point them out. But there are a lot of ones for the more common systems. Not all of them are common, but they're the more common systems out of the bunch. Capcom, Cave, ColecoVision, Commodore, Amiga. Now here's one of the ones I redid. I redid Daphne. I didn't want it to look too much like the theme that Hyperspin was already using, and at that time it did. So I felt I would add more to it. And then, let's see. This took quite a while because a lot of the artwork I had to cut out myself or fix because it was low res, or, you know, the usual work. MAME, I redid. I really like how MAME came out. You have Intellivision, MS-DOS, MSX, MSX2, games for Windows, same as PC games. Xbox, I'm not sure if Xbox is actually viable at the moment, but it could be. So I figured, what the heck, that's an easy one, I'll make that one. Midway Classics, Misfit MAME, PC Engine, Super Graphics, Turbo Duo, Turbo 16, did that one over, did this one over, did this one over, added that one, did this one over. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites. Disk System, redid the Game Boy ones, even though I just did those. I think I redid them. I don't know if it's the same or not. Yeah, I know I redid this one because it was black and white before, and I wanted it to match the colors of the Game Boy, so I altered the colors on that. Virtual Boy, Wii, Open Board, 3DO, PC games, CDI for those people that have CDI. I don't know why you would, but PopCap, RCA Studio 2, Atomis Wave, Scum VM, 32X, Sega CD, Dreamcast, Game Gear, Genesis, Master System, Mega Drive, Model 3, Second Naomi, Saturn. Okay, I think they're almost, I've almost gone through all of them. Neo Geo Pocket Color, Neo Geo, PS2, PlayStation, PSP, Game.com or Gamecom, Tuhu Project, Creative Vision, Supervision, Action Max, Pinball FX, Inc. Okay, so those are all the layer ones, and when I do the fades, I like to do everything for them. So they have, I mean, you name it, it's there. They have the layer 4s in there. They're all resized to fit. Some of the artwork was used from what was provided already for the main systems like the Atari and stuff like that. But a lot of it I had to do. These aren't going to show right because all the other artwork in between, but you get it. So each one has a layer 4. It has the layer 3 text. It has the layer 1 backgrounds. And then the extra layer that I used for the overlay. So complete fades like I normally do. So that's that. And there's just over 100, I think 102 or 103, something like that. And that will be in the description, the download link for you guys to get. And I would like any feedback possible on those fades if they're oh, there's one more thing I need to mention about fades. Any feedback possible. Let me know what you guys think. Do they not work right? Do they not look right? Are you having trouble getting them to look right? Are the animated images not displaying correctly? Anything, because a lot of these systems I don't have. Most of them I don't have on my system, so it's hard to, I can't test them. So I leave that up to you guys to test. I follow the same process as my other fades, so I don't really think there's going to be an issue, but if there is, please let me know. Okay. Another thing about the fades is that previously the fades were 720p, and there's a good reason for that. The first television I had in my arcade cabinet was maximum 720p. And then one day I checked my arcade and the backlight went out on the TV. So I had to I didn't throw it away, I'm going to fix it for other things, but I had to get rid of it out of the arcade cabinet and replace it. So I replaced it with a 1080p screen. And so after I did that, I just kind of changed the RocketLauncher settings to stay at 720p and just left it on the back burner. And I was like, one day I'm going to straighten that out. One day I'm going to straighten it out. And I decided that last week the day came. So I straightened it out. Now all of the fade screens are at 1080p. So if you load them into your fade area, your fade folder, and you load them onto your RocketLauncher stuff, and you find that they're not sized correctly on the screen, it's to do with your settings in RocketLauncher for the display size. Okay, so you're going to want to check that out. Even the old ones that I redid are now 1080p. So you're going to want to change those settings accordingly, otherwise they're not going to display correctly. And now, from now on, whenever I do fades, I'm gonna release them in 1080p. And believe me, there are a ton more that I plan to do, and that is the much more difficult systems. I just haven't got to them yet. So patience, because those take a while, and finding the artwork and having to make the artwork and things like that, it's time consuming. So just have patience. I plan to release. Probably by the end of the year, I'll have over 200 fades available for people to use. That's the plan. Anyways, so here's 100 plus fades for you guys. You're welcome. Alright, so the next thing to talk about is a short time ago, in September, the end of September, this addition was added to pause, and I did not realize that it was added to pause. I had no idea, and I was checking for something else and found this and decided to use that. And when I put the labels, I was like, well, what's the point in putting text pictures when the text editor is so good in Rocket Launcher you can make it look whatever way you want? And if you don't have a certain kind of text, then you can just download the text, install it on your computer, and it'll use it anyways. So I thought, what's the point? And then I got to really thinking and created these. So basically what it is it's, let's say, the two villains, the one from Sonic and the one from Mario. And they flank the word artwork, okay? And this is when it's deselected. But when you select it, you have the good guys. So Sonic and Mario. And the same process goes for all of them. So you have Banjo-Kazooie's bad girl, I think it's Griselda? I don't remember. The witch. And then you have the witch from DuckTales. And then you switch it, and it's Banjo-Kazooie and Scrooge. And then you have Sephiroth and Cortex. And you switch it, and it's Cloud and Crash Bandicoot. You get the point. They're all like that. So now it looks really, really nice in the menu to have these little figures. The only thing that I wish, because I don't have enough crap to do, I guess, the only thing I wish is that you can have default ones for each system rather than a default one across the board. If you put it for, let's say, NES and Kirby, it's going to be that way for every system. As far as I know, I didn't see that it gave you the option to do it default for each system. But either way, that's okay, because I like the way it looks all around. I mean, the system that I run has all of my games in one wheel, all my systems in one wheel. I don't have all the games from every system. Those that know me know that I don't. I have maybe 100 games from each system, the best ones that I feel are belong in there. So to have it like this, where it's these random characters on the wheel, kind of makes sense for my system. But somebody who has like Genesis would not want Mario on their pause menu, I would think. But who knows? I mean, artwork is artwork. So you got this, and I will probably upload this. I don't know how many people can use it. I mean, if you want to create your own, it's very simple. Excuse me. It's very simple. You go to a website called CoolText, CoolText, and you can create whatever text you want, this part right here. And then there's a real simple program to use called GIMP. I mean, I'm sure anybody who's modifying artwork and stuff like that for their arcades knows about GIMP. It's pretty simple to use, either GIMP or Photoshop. And you just find the artwork online, put the little characters next to the name, crop it to the outside edge of the image, and that's it. And then after you get your name with the pictures, you label it accordingly. And if you don't know the names, I mean, here you go. You can look here exactly what you have to name them. But this is following my things. So you see, I have magazines in mine, but that's actually manuals is the name for it. So whatever menu option you're making the label for is what you would put. And you'd have one for disabled and one for selected. And as far as I know, disabled isn't necessary, but if you don't have a disabled one, it'll just show the selected one when it's disabled. And I wanted it to switch back and forth, so and then I have some unused ones here because right now, for some reason, load game and save game are broken. When I put these ones in there, everything shifts to the left of the screen, and I can't figure out why. I'm going to wait until they fix it. I know it's a known issue, so I'm just going to wait until they fix that. and then I'll throw those in there. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to speak about here is the downloads, and this is how they're going to look in the future. I'm currently trying to redo them, and I still cannot pay for a full account on Megasync yet. I wish I could, but I can't. And so what that means is they're going to be separated throughout multiple accounts. But at least it'll be the same addresses every time. So what this is going to do is I have my miscellaneous files in this folder, let's say. And that'll have your fades. This is where you're going to download the fades from. And then my GIF images in the marquee, my marquee videos that I have. Hey, that don't belong there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so my marquee videos, marquees, all of it is going to be in the miscellaneous folder. So if I provide a file for fades, let's say I provide more fades, I will tell you, or I will provide the link to this entire account, okay, and tell you that it is in miscellaneous fades. I'll tell you where to go in the account to find the item, and just one link, okay? So, and Daphne, let's say you want something from Daphne. You no longer have to download the entire 60 gigs of videos just to get what you need. If you just need Daphne videos, you just go into videos under Daphne and grab that file, and that's 15 megabytes. If you just need Daphne's guides and manuals and stuff, you go in and you just get Daphne's manuals. Same thing goes for each system is going to be separated so that you can just get that system's media if you want to. Now I understand if you want all of it, it's very tedious to go from folder to folder, but I mean, it's easier in the end to do this not only for you in the way that if you ever accidentally delete some files, you don't have to re-download 60, 70 gigabytes. It's easier on your bandwidth because you're not downloading 60, 70 gigabytes at one time. And it's easier for me because let's say the Game Boy Advance, okay? I just started putting Game Boy Advance stuff. So let's say I have the manuals, the magazines, alright? Now, let's say I wanted to add to this. Well, I could easily just put manuals for the Game Boy, just put edition, what's today's date? November 16th, 2016. So you know that it was added on that date. And I just slapped it at the bottom there. So you're not getting just a random file of magazines updated, and you don't have to download 60 gigs to get everything. It's you just go through and you get the added files that I put into that folder. That's it. And the same goes for the manuals and strategy guides. If I get more strategy guides, I will upload a folder that says update, and I'll have the date on there, and you just grab that file rather than grabbing the whole bunch all over again. So that's easier in my opinion. Now, the bad thing is you'll notice that I still have these multi-part files, and a couple of people had mentioned something about the multi-part files being an issue, but I do apologize. Unfortunately, my computer, I don't think it's my computer, Megasync or my connection or something will not let me upload a 2.5 gigabyte file. It's not letting me do it anymore. It did before in the past. I was able to upload like 6, 7 gigs at a time. Maybe I'm at a data cap, but I doubt that. I've never ever run into a data cap. And trust me, I've downloaded quite a bit of stuff, and I've never run into a data cap. But for some reason, it's not letting me do it. So at least it's not like 80 different part files. It's only like 4 to 7 or 8 maximum. So it's separated a little better, a lot better if you ask me. This whole project for restructuring the downloads is going to take a while. Okay, this was an open account, meaning I had nothing on this account, on this particular Megasync account before. So I was able to start here. And I have another account with nothing on it. I'm going to start adding to that one. But once I fill that up, I'm going to have to take the other things down to restructure those. And you're going to see like this one with all miscellaneous systems. You're going to see another one with just MAME in it. You're going to see another 2 with Nintendo stuff in it. But in the end, it's going to be like 7 to 8 links. And that's all you'll have to ever see on my videos from that point forward. So like I said, if I update the manuals for TurboGrafx 16, I will tell you, go to the link on the bottom, go to Rocket Launcher NEC TurboGrafx 16, manuals magazines, and then you'll see the update there. Okay, so that's it. It makes it way easier for everybody when I do that. It may not appeal to everybody out there, but you can't make everybody happy, and this was the best thing I can see doing with this whole process, and I think it's leaps and bounds better than the way it was. Okay, so excuse me. One other thing, well actually there's a couple things. Names of files for the guides. Okay, where the manuals are, people have downloaded the manuals, and it says plus manual or plus manual or whatever it says, and then you have the books that say 100% walkthrough, the PDF files, 100% walkthrough, 1% walkthrough, those kind of things. You have all that there. Okay, there's a problem, because it has been brought to my attention that pause does not read the percent sign. It throws an error whenever you go to that book, that particular book. It shows the name, but when you move down the list to that particular book, it throws an error and pause crashes. So to fix that, there's not much I can do. But what I did do is I went through all of those books and found every one of them that have a percent sign in it. And I'm sorry about the phone. Went through every one of them that had a percent sign in it and fixed them. And as I did that, I wrote them down in an easy to read chart for each system. There's probably about 25 to 30 books that have a percent sign in them. Okay, and what you're going to do is I'm going to provide the link at the bottom in the description for this as well, and it's a text file that shows you which guides you're going to have to manually correct, which guides you're going to have to change the name on. So you're just going to want to get rid of that percent symbol and just type percent if that works for you. I had a problem with the music before, and there were Japanese symbols or Chinese symbols. I don't know what they are. I can't read either one. So they were causing it to crash and not create a playlist. And so the only way around that was to make the songs numerical rather than show the titles, which in pause I didn't feel that was a big deal to change it to numbers. Oh my goodness. To change it to numbers rather than text. But that was my way around that, and I should have known right at that point that those symbols, those kinds of symbols cause issues, so I should have checked it. And I didn't, so I apologize, but it's, you know, about 5 to 10 minutes of finding these guides and correcting the names, and you'll be back in business. So the last thing to talk about, this is the last thing. Oh, something that I'm going to work on for the future. Now not only am I going to work on the other fade screens and hopefully finish that off for you guys, but I will also be making complete sets of those marquees that I have. Let's see if I can find it. I believe it's hyper marquee. Alright, yeah. Like these for the 64 and NES. Those marquees. I'm going to be making complete sets. So no longer is it going to be just the ones that I have. If you have a marquee monitor and you like the style of my marquees, I apologize. My son is sick and we're all kind of getting sick around here. And you like the style of marquees that I have, then good news for you, because the systems that I have will have these. And who knows? I might do the same thing I did with the fades. I'll probably make the marquees for every system and all of the games. They're not that hard to make. It's just trying to figure out an original design. That's all. Something that doesn't flood the marquee with little animated pictures or anything, but gets the point across and looks nice up there. So it takes a bit for me to decide on particular artwork that I want to use for these things. But once I do, it's not that hard to make them. So that's in the future. I can't say when, but you will see full sets of those marquees coming out. And I lied. There is one more thing to talk about. And you know what? It slipped my mind. I can't remember. Crud. Pretty sure it was. The folder structure. Okay. So, and that had all the things I was talking about. Now, as for the, I'm trying to find a good example here. Okay, let's go. Oh, I got a really good example. Okay, let's go to my Dreamcast. Alright. So, and this isn't even the right folder, so we're going to have to go onto the arcade. Good thing it is on. Alright, so we'll go to my emulators, Dreamcast, ROMs. Okay, now, if you look here, you will see how my ROMs are named. Okay, and I'm sure you've seen how my ROMs are named when you download the media from me. Now, it has been brought to my attention that this is not a good way to go, let's say, when I'm providing media for other people. Which might be true. It might be true. I mean, if I had to rename all the files for something, I would be like, what the hell, you know? I thought this was going to be easy, an easy drag and drop. Now, I'm gonna try to make a point here. While I do understand that, certain naming conventions should be followed whenever you're providing media for people, but I will point out that when I started doing this, the person who brought it up already knows all this. I'm just saying it to everyone who's also maybe thinking the same thing. When I started out with this, I had 35 subscribers, and this was about maybe 6 months ago. Okay, 35 subscribers. I've jumped up to almost 150 over the course of 6 months. Now, that's probably not a lot in the grand scheme of things. I do appreciate all my subscribers, I will say that much. But in the grand scheme of YouTube, 150 isn't much. But for somebody who never actually intended on getting that much attention in the end, and it's probably not even the end. I'm pretty sure it's going to jump again after these fades are released. But let's just say that I expected attention, but I didn't expect it to get that much attention. So, when I started providing this stuff, I was just, my thought process was this. Okay, I made these fade screens. I don't like the way the fade looks originally, so I'm going to do something about it. I made these fade screens. I like the way these look. Maybe someone else could use this stuff. Let me throw it out there. So I uploaded it and put it out there for people to download. And then I'm like, if I'm going to work on the fade screens, I might as well work on pause. So I took my folders with my game names, the way that I had my ROMs named, and filled up my folders and got all the media for myself. And I thought, you know what? Let me not be stingy. There's probably a lot of people out there who can use this stuff. Let me put it up there. So I uploaded it the best way I could and just threw it out there. And now a lot of people are downloading it. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of between a rock and a hard place as far as renaming what I've already put out there. If it had to be done, I'm sure the people already did it. You guys already did it. And if I do it, is it going to cause trouble? I mean, okay, basically what I'm saying is I need your guys' opinion. I need opinions here as to what should be done as far as naming convention. Is it okay with you guys that the way it's named now? Or do I rename everything before I upload it? Or, I mean, is it a problem? Is basically what I'm saying. Is it a problem that I put everything the way it is? Because like I said, I do it for myself. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do it for myself. And then when I'm done doing it for myself, I give it to you guys. I say, here you go. Do with it what you will. I don't care what you do with it. I don't care what you take, what you don't take. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you don't like it. It's there. Okay? That's my view on that as far as the media goes. Now, as far as my own personal work, like the marquees that I do, or the themes, or the fades, or the pause artwork, things like that are what I look at. Those are the things I try to make sure are perfect before they go out. So, I mean, like I said, let me know. Is it a problem? Because what I can do is just make an entire folder full of the different systems with all the proper ROM names, and then whenever I come up with new media, just drag and drop. And yes, it's a lot more work for me, and I'm sure you guys know that over a 6-month period, my channel has changed. I've made a lot of changes because I'm trying to take this more serious than I did 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I'm trying to take my channel for what it is. Okay, people kind of are relying on me now to come up with something or come up with stuff to go with what I've already come up with. And I don't mind that because I'm doing it for myself anyways, so why not? But I don't want to give you guys something that's causing more hassle than it's worth. That's what I'm trying to say here. I don't want to cause you guys to have to work twice as hard as me trying to fix the stuff I provide. So let me know in the comments what you guys feel. If it's a problem, your advice, the best way to go about it. If I were to have to rename things, if I were to have to I'll tell you guys honestly, if I were to have to rename everything as I got it to upload, I would just redo my entire system, my own personal system. So I don't have to worry about renaming all of this stuff twice. I would just rename all my ROMs, my marquees, my fades, not fades, my pause media, my hyperspin media. I would rename all of it just to follow a certain naming suit. But I've always found as well that there's multiple naming suits, and you cannot always name it to please everybody. There's 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to name these things. Some people get rid of the tags. Some people keep them. Some people, there's the good name set. There's the no intro set. There's so many different ways to name the files that it's tough to. And I personally got my games a long time ago, my ROMs from what is it? I think it was called the Hyperspin Project or something. and it was a bunch of torrent files that formed Hyperspin, and I fixed it up from there, but I didn't go over the game names, and I don't know. I'm rambling. Just let me know what you guys think about it. Anything you guys want to say about that part, or anything you want to say about anything in this video. Definitely give me some criticism on the fades. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any trouble getting them to fit your screen, let me know. And by the way, I think my mic works now, so you might be seeing some tutorials from me pretty soon. That is, if you don't mind me rambling in between each step. I have the gift of gab, let's say. Alright, so I'll let you guys carry on with your other YouTube stuff that you're doing, and I'll carry on with my stuff that I'm doing. And as always, like the video, subscribe, and have a good night. Thanks.